It is now my privilege to introduce the Honourable Marama Davidson, New Zealand's first Minister of the Crown, to hold the portfolio for the prevention of family violence and sexual violence. Marama is of Ngāpuhi and Tararawa and Ngāti Porou descent. Marama Davidson was elected to Parliament in 2015, following 10 years of working at the Human Rights Commission and also serving as the chief panellist on the Glen Inquiry, which was into family violence and child abuse. She is a mama to 6 children and lives in Manarewa. Minister Davidson will talk about the mahi to weave together knowledge and actions to eliminate family violence and sexual violence. Minister, we invite you to speak. Thank you.
E mihi ana ki te rangi, e mihi ana ki te whenua, e mihi ana ki ngā maunga me ngā waihorapa nei o tēnei whenua o koutou. Kai aku iti, kai aku rahi, kai aku whakataitei. Nei ko te mihi kia koutou e manawa nui ana ki tēnei kaupapa o te rā ki tēnei mahi. Mai kore ake koutou me a koutou mahi, e korenga wawata o tēnei kaupapa e tutuki. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, kia ora mai tātou katoa. That Slido tool is fantastic. I just had a go at it, and then I was able to also see a lot of the kupu, the words that many of you have put up there. Want to acknowledge that some of you are feeling wet. I saw that word appear apparently quite a few times. I think that's quite appropriate because I want to acknowledge this morning hearing from Nate and Tiatiawa Taranaki Whānui, and in his mihi and whakatau, he reminded us and brought us back to the whakapapa of Ranginui kia papatūānuku, and that's exactly what you were embellished with this morning. So I just wanted to acknowledge and say you've been blessed. It's lovely that we're in a warm room. I hope you dry out soon. I wanted to acknowledge a few people in the room as well, who I understand are here or are due to be here very soon. Not the least, my beautiful, amazing colleague and person who helped us build the foundation for a ministerial role in this work, Jan Logie. Are you here yet, Jan? Not yet, she's on her way. Really, really a privilege to be able to follow on from Jan's work. I believe Emily Henderson, another parliamentary, kia ora, right there, kia ora Emily, another parliamentary colleague who has also worked alongside me on a lot of these issues. I believe Judge Francis Evers is here this morning, is also our Children's Commissioner. And of course, Emma Powell, who opened us up for what we are hoping to achieve in this hui. My friend Andrew Kibblewhite is also here. He's one of the ones who got wet. And many other CEs and officials from government, particularly important to be here today. That is the big part of the accountability work of Te Aorerekura. I understand my friend Claire Ahmad of Social Service Providers Aotearoa is also here. I saw you, Dr. Kim McGregor, Chief Victims Advisor, as always one of the first people I get to give a hug to. And there will be more acknowledgements throughout the day, throughout my speech, but most of all, kia koutou aku rangatira, the many, many champions in this room who have been, as Emma said, doing the mahi, doing the grind for decades in fact, as well as the newly arrived champions. We need us all. We need our wisdom. We need our new and fresh insights. We need us all working together. And lastly, my amazing friends, Nina Kay and Charles, so beautiful. You were so good last year. We said, just why not again? Why not again? And it's really beautiful to have the honour of you guiding our day. Te Aorerekura, the national strategy to eliminate family violence and sexual violence, belongs to us all. It creates a framework and a pathway forward for our collective efforts to eliminate violence in Aotearoa so all people can live good lives in peace. Over 1 million adult New Zealanders have experienced intimate partner violence or sexual violence at some point during their life. So right now there are, I understand, 34,500 seats here in Sky Stadium, and you can look out the window and imagine every seat in this venue filled about 30 times. That is 1 million people too many. And if you look at all of those seats and sadly imagine them filled 2.5 times, all of those seats, 2.5 times, you'll then get a sense of the numbers of tamariki and children whose experience of violence was notified to government. And not only that, but we know that many cases and the majority of violence are not disclosed, especially sexual violence, which leaves people suffering alone, isolated, hurting, and in desperate need of support. Now you all know this. You all know this better than the rest of us. I recall this to just make it clear and acknowledge the scale of both our challenge and the importance of our work together. And you will hear me and my ministerial colleagues say that addressing family violence and sexual violence is one of our greatest opportunities to improve well-being. Through the input of so many of you, our strategy acknowledges the complexity and diversity of the experiences of people, families and whānau, and makes it clear what we need to do. As you have all taught me continuously, preventing violence is about well-being. This is at the heart of our work. Toi ora, that is our vision for everyone. The focus on well-being, healing, strengthening and responding is clearly articulated through the shifts Te Aorerekura seeks for our system. These shifts, and I understand you've got the card reminder of them right there on all your tables, these shifts guide us as we start to take the actions that will achieve change. We are acting now, right now, and there's a lot, as Emma said, there is a lot going on. We're guided by our strategy, by tangata whenua leaders, by Te Puna Aonui, the joint venture for the elimination of family violence and sexual violence, and guided by you all, so that our mokopuna can know a new way in a world, in a community that is peaceful, respectful, and refuses to tolerate violence. This will be a society where people can manage their feelings safely and ask for help, where people seek consent to touch or engage in sexual activity, and where we all know what healthy relationships look, sound, and feel like. Te Aorerekura shows us what must be done, and we are here today because we are all part of the journey, moving together. The name of our national strategy, Te Aorerekura, draws on the knowledge of a cluster of stars that guide human navigation to gain knowledge and comprehension. Aorere is responsible for ensuring the safe journey of her whānau as they travel across the celestial skies. I am grateful for the wisdom and generosity of tangata whenua leaders here today and working with us around the motu, who named the national strategy and have infused it with their whakaaro and te ao Māori. Now, I do not take lightly the responsibility we must shoulder and what we are accountable to when given such a gift. This is no small thing. It is also through wānanga among tangata whenua leaders from the family violence and sexual violence sectors that Te Puna Aonui, the joint venture, was named. Te Puna Aonui creates the markers on the journey from te kore ki te ao marama, from darkness into the light. Te Puna Aonui is the vessel containing appropriate tools and resources to support both individual and collective journeys towards well-being. I am confident that we can travel safely together in this mahi, guided by the strategy, especially those all-important principles of equity and inclusion, aroha, and the actions that are tika and pono, kotahitanga, working together, and kaitiakitanga, all of us understanding our roles and responsibilities. I just want to take a brief break here from my speech. Also in those words, some of you might see the word harikoa, I was one of the people who put that word up in terms of how I'm feeling. I also put the word mataku. I think it's right for ministers, CEs, government agencies and representatives to constantly be feeling a sense of anxiousness about our accountability to this work. So I offer up mataku with all truth. Central to this mahi is the Crown accountability and responsibility. Oh, okay, that was a good natural break that I just took there. Okay. I am clear that we are accountable to you for the change that we have committed to through Te Aorerekura. We are accountable to you for the harm that has been caused through inadequate responses, insufficient funding, and a lack of courage to talk about the problem right in front of us. And we have a fundamental responsibility to do better. I am proud that I can stand here today to authentically celebrate the progress we are making and acknowledge the progress we are yet to make. Okay, I could have put proud up in those words as well. So this morning, I want to share with you how we are working, the steps we are taking together, and importantly for today, the opportunity for us to continue to learn together through this hui. This listening and learning is how we will weave together the knowledge and actions we need to deliver intergenerational change for our people. As we start our journey, we are strengthening our waka, making sure we are pointing in the right direction and ensuring that we know what signposts to look for to confirm that we are making progress. Okay, so I want to talk about building the infrastructure or the scaffolding as I often think about it in my head as well. We are building the scaffolding and infrastructure so we can succeed in that vision we all share, that everyone in Aotearoa New Zealand is able to live free from violence. We must create a strong foundation and start as we mean to continue. We are building relationships and processes so we can work together well. To do this, we are establishing better ways for government to work with tangata whenua and communities, to hear your voices and to enable community leadership to shape and lead solutions. The strength and solutions I've always maintained lie within our communities. We are strengthening frontline services and workforce capability so no matter where someone affected by violence reaches out for help, they are safe and supported to heal. That is our goal. That is a must. We are committing to a new way of working as government, developing joint budget packages every year and developing an investment plan to help set a path for the intergenerational investment that is needed for intergenerational change. We are designing the learning and monitoring system so we actually know what's working on the ground, and so we are accountable to outcomes for people and not just outputs for government. We are beginning to work with communities differently, affirming the power of communities to lead their own solutions and resourcing localities to ensure regionally led responses. This is long-term work, this is a long journey, and there is a big and complicated system that we need to unstick, but we are committed to this work. Affirming the power of communities to lead their own solutions and ensuring the flexibility to provide whatever support is needed for our people, for however long it is needed, is the priority. This is my priority. We have heard you say that government needed to get its own patch sorted if there is to be any hope of improving systems. I'm hoping a lot of you are hearing what you've been banging on to me about for quite some time. I take it on board closely and passionately and relay it to my colleagues, our officials, our agencies. Now, we know that what you say is true, and that's why we are committed to doing things differently. Through its work, through government work, to align strategy, policy and investment, Te Puna Aonui, the joint venture of government agencies, are building new ways of working together and taking accountability. All agencies are required to develop family violence training plans for their workforces. We want everyone in government agencies feeling confident to lead champion systemic, attitudinal and behavioural change. And here I do just want to acknowledge all across government agencies there is broad collective agreement and understanding that actually our agencies and workforce on the ground want this to happen. They know what is needed in communities and they are loud advocates for the changes that need to happen across our systems. So now I want to talk about addressing those structures and systems and beliefs and creating new norms. All forms of violence are violations of mana and tapu. At our hui last year, we heard our colleagues at He Waka Eke Noa talk about their research into institutional violence and racism in the system. Te Aorerekura is clear about the drivers of violence, and that includes the structures, systems and beliefs that allow for violence to happen. This includes colonisation and the patriarchy. Now, I really do acknowledge that any conversation about structures like colonisation and patriarchy, especially as a wahine Māori minister, can become an excuse for people to express violent intent towards us, our collective work, as the leaders of change, which is why it is even more important that we hold that line and have the important conversations. New research published by Janet Fanslow highlights the significant differences between men and women's exposure to intimate partner violence and the greater severity of violence that women experience. We must all be able to speak openly about the gendered nature of violence and also be clear how it harms people of all genders, and be clear that we still absolutely must push through with a whole of whānau-centred approach. Achieving gender equality is just one aspect of what we must do if we hope to eliminate violence. Similarly vital to this work is te tiriti o waitangi and tangata whenua leadership. For too long, we have not privileged the ways of thinking and working that we have needed to. Later today, you'll hear from Tā Mark Solomon and Puata Wātene. I mihi to them, to the chair, Dr. Maria Baker, and all of the members of Te Pūkotahitanga, many of you I've seen this morning, the Tangata Whenua Ministerial Advisory Group that was established last year to provide mana ki te mana advice and leadership. And my goodness, there is nothing like being accountable to a group of ferocious, awesome Māori. Nothing like it. It's fantastic. These experts will be involved in guiding the implementation of our 25-year strategy. This is important because we know that kaupapa Māori approaches and Te Ao Māori values and knowledge improve the lives and well-being of not only whānau, hapu and hapori Māori, but everyone. Indigenous and Pacific models of practice and approaches to policy heal trauma and build well-being. I also here want to mihi to our Pacific providers meeting together to also shape the work that we do. Through Pacifica Proud and strategies right across government to strengthen Pacific people's leadership across our work, new ways of working will emerge, must emerge. We need to continue to build this in the future. Recent budget investments and the new joint approach to ethnic-specific and culturally informed prevention initiatives such as E Tu Whānau, Pacifica Proud and the Campaign for Action on Family Violence are encouraging developments, and there is still so much more to do. Te Puna Aonui has been working with many of you to build the mechanisms and opportunities for LGBTQIA+, Takatapui and rainbow communities, diverse ethnic communities, disabled people, elders, and children and young people to help us learn, monitor, and shape our work. I acknowledge those of you with us today who are participating in this mahi and shaping how government will hear from you. We cannot do this work without you, and I acknowledge how long you have had to do this work for already. It has been far too long. Most importantly, we know we need to hear the voices of victims and survivors whose stories and insights demonstrate why this work is so important. We are still learning how to listen in ways that are safe and build shared understanding. We need to continue developing our approaches, being led by victims and survivors themselves. So today we are listening at this hui and enduringly in our mahi. So this event is an example of all of us coming together to learn ako tahi through the work we are doing to improve how we can be led by you, our communities. We'll make sure that we are including you all in the ways that we learn and monitor progress. As many of you will know, work has started on the next action plan. This will be the plan that prioritises government work over the next couple of years. I am pleased with the progress we've made to deliver the first action plan. A huge 40 actions are being delivered. Creating the second action plan provides an opportunity to build on the progress to date, and engagement on this has already commenced. Now, I am clear that this plan needs to be led by you. I want to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to all those who have written and spoken to me and otherwise shared your valuable time with me over the past year in particular to share your insights and expertise. I hold your words with me. I take them to every action and every way of trying to push things forward. What I ask of you across all the work we are doing is to please keep talking, sharing your ideas and walking alongside us as you challenge us. Te Aorerekura lights our way, guided by the stars and by the torches you bear to help navigate the path. You will help show us which way we need to go, illuminating the path, guided by the stars of Aorere and Aonui towards knowledge and comprehension as we travel. So in closing, thank you so much for being here today. Whether you are here in the room or online, you are so valued. I encourage you to reach out and take the time to make connections with others who are gathered here today and to ask questions and engage wherever possible. I hope the panels and talks throughout the day invigorate and inspire your mahi. I know they will mine. We are here to learn. Achieving changes in how we work across government and with communities takes courage. I commend you all for the courage you have shown to get us to this point and the courage I know you will continue to show. So please, tune our instruments and play them loudly. E tio te tui, e kite kite te kāka, e kōrehi te kōkako. It takes many instruments to make a symphony. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, kia ora, hui hui mai tātou katoa.